What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this we have Netherlands digging deep into the Dutch economy. Before we dive into this video, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to smash that subscribe button, get a video a thumbs up. Let's find out what's going on with that Dutch economy.
Known for windmills, tulips, tall people, and stealing the land from the sea, the Netherlands is among the top 20 biggest economies in the world and a GDP per capita of over $50,000. If you are Dutch, don't forget to share your opinions in the comment section below.
That is nice.
The geographic location of the country is both its best and worst feature. Best because it serves as a European trade hub. Worst because a quarter of the country is below sea levels. But the country's non-stop battle against water has made it an expert in water management, dredging, and flood protection. It is truly exceptional to see how the Dutch managed all the delta works, dams, dikes, and polders. It's a story of remarkable engineering and human resilience from which the world could learn a lot, considering the rising sea levels is a topic of concern for many countries. The Dutch are highly individualistic. There is this topic that individualistic societies are more likely to gain economic success collectively, but it's debatable. On the other hand, the government traditionally had a higher regulatory role in the economy. The government's economic interventions were significantly reduced back in the 1980s when market economy was professed worldwide. This resulted in considerable privatization as well as the restructuring of welfare programs. Nonetheless, it remains highly regulated but still a market economy. In fact, it is arguably often referred to as the birthplace of modern capitalism. Forget about Amazon, Apple, Google, and so on. Back in the 17th century, the Dutch East India Company, also known as the VOC, was the most valuable company of all times.
That's crazy. Know what I'm saying? When you're from America, you think, America, the leader of capitalism, like American, the best at capitalism, it seems like. But nah. We wasn't the ones who invented capitalism. You feel me? The Dutch back in the day, before America was even formed, before America could even be a thought. I don't even know if they had found America. Well, I know the natives did, but I'm talking about the ones who came over from Europe and took it from the natives. I don't know if they had even found America at the time. The Dutch was already on that capitalism. They was the leaders of it. That's why they had the money.
It committed many atrocities and misused its powers with colonialism. Nonetheless, it formalized many modern-day economic principles that serves as a blueprint for modern-era corporations. It was not until the late 1700s that they were replaced by the British as the world's leading trading nation. The tradition of being merchants and traders carries on as the country's economy continues to be highly dependent on foreign trade. But there are many lessons one could learn from the economic history of the Netherlands. Tulips were introduced into Europe from Turkey after 1550. The vibrantly beautiful flowers became immensely popular. Infected by a virus, some varieties of tulips showed varied patterns. As the rich sometimes collect rare items like paintings for ridiculous prices, many wealthy individuals began to collect and display these rare tulips. The demand for mixed-colored tulips exceeded the supply, and prices of these rare bulbs skyrocketed. In early 1600, a single bulb of a new variety was satisfactory as dowry for a bride, or as a payment for a thriving brewery in France.
A single bulb. A single bulb. This is how rare they were. Now, compared to today, now the tulips, relatively very, very, very cheap compared to the skyrocketing prices that they were back in the day because of the rarity, because of the supply and demand. That's absolutely insane.
The madness reached its peak in Holland during 1633 to 1637. Many people thought that the whole of Europe and possibly the whole world would want to own tulips. The prices elevated to an extent that a single flower was priced more than some houses. While trades were done as cash for the bulbs, many bulbs were sold and resold as a future contract without even leaving the ground. Eventually, the madness ended in 1637 with a drastic collapse in prices and many losing their fortunes. Tulip mania, often described as the first
Dang.
recorded speculative bubble, is a perfect example of how people forget how much of an intrinsic value an asset holds. They bought more and more in hopes to sell them later for profits. It may seem silly to buy a
Dang.
tulip for, let's say, $1 million, but if you believe you can sell it for $2 million after a certain time, then it just seems like a very reasonable decision as well as a rational investment.
Can you imagine that, bro? Buying a tulip for 1 million is all. Thinking about that is already mind numbing. It is mind numbing. But then to think after you buy it, you plan to sell it later for 2 million, but the prices collapse. And now let's just say you bought this $1 million tulip, and now it is worth $20. That's reason enough to cry your eyes out for the rest of your life.
This is known as the Greater Fool Theory. Some people have compared tulip mania with numerous economic bubbles, including Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, while others oppose the similarities between the two with different sets of arguments. Recently, some historians have highlighted that tulip mania was highly exaggerated and not many people were involved in it. But these history corrections were only meant to emphasize that tulip mania arguably didn't impact the rest of the Dutch economy.
I feel that.
Tulip mania is a cautionary tale of how speculative bubbles are generated. It shows our irrational biases. It shows our tendency to get carried away with anything. Then they collapse and we move on to find a new madness, and the pattern repeats.
Facts, and facts. The Dutch disease.
In 1959, the discovery of natural gas in Groningen had a huge positive impact on the Dutch economy. This discovery was as important for the Netherlands as oil for...
I heard about this natural gas in other videos, but the Dutch had to, and it provided a lot of money for the economy, you feel me? But they had to stop drilling it due to like earthquakes and things such as that. And it was, some of these earthquakes were actually killing people and just causing natural disasters by continuing to drill into this natural gas, and I had to stop it.
For Norway or banks for Switzerland. While natural gas helped the Dutch economy stretch its wings, it also negatively impacted the overall economy. Now, if this sounds like a paradox, then you are right, because that's what it is. The Dutch disease, a term coined in 1977 by The Economist, highlighted a relationship between the economic growth of one sector compared to the decline in other sectors. The growing sectors are usually natural resources, but not limited to them, while the other sectors could be manufacturing and agriculture. The Netherlands began exporting natural gas, but when the revenue started pouring in, the country's currency guilder began to appreciate. It happens due to the currency's higher demand in the international market. This may sound good, but it wasn't. The appreciation made the Netherlands' exports become expensive for other countries to purchase, putting pressure on the other sectors. Also, the appreciated currency made the imports more affordable for consumers who started preferring imported items over domestically made products. This resulted in further decline of the local manufacturing industry.
Yeah, if my imports are going to be cheaper, if I can get it from another country than to buy it in my own country, well, give it to me from the other country.
The growing sector, with tons of revenue from exports, offers better wages, which pushes the other sectors to pay more to their workers who would otherwise flee towards the growing sector. But there are only limited people the growing sector could hire. This, along with the decline of other sectors, increases unemployment. Even investors flee towards the growing sector for better profits. The growing sector also brings more revenue for governments, which results in increased government spending that manifests into public infrastructure, military spending, and welfare programs. The welfare programs make the government look good in front of the voters, but if this is done carelessly, it could lead to further issues. For example, if something happens to the growing sector, the welfare programs need to be restructured, which people dislike. The more complex and diverse an economy is, the less likely it is to be impacted by the Dutch disease. The Dutch disease is a result of wealth managed unwisely.
So the Dutch disease is basically like, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Don't let one thing be responsible for all of your income. Diversify that portfolio, right? Let's put our eggs in many different baskets, so that if one basket's eggs don't happen to I guess produce then you got all these other baskets. You still got all these other baskets instead of putting it in that one basket and that whole basket not producing, and now you're screwed.
The resource curse is real. It shows the riches could be
I was meaning to say hatch. I just couldn't think of it. Sorry, let's continue.
curse sometimes rather than a blessing. It's a lesson that you shouldn't put all the eggs in one basket.
There you go.
The only thing that cheers up a Dutch more than an unexpected discount is if they could get something for free. The bicycle-friendly people are less inclined towards spending money on branded products. They would rather choose a good product that works for little money. Squeezing out the most for less is a preference, but before you call them greedy, you should know that the Netherlands is among the top countries that spend most on development aid per capita, as well as a percentage of gross national income. There is this Dutch saying that roughly translates to, just act normal, then you're already acting crazy enough. Not trying to stand out and being content with the normal is the key. This also manifests in people's financial decisions. Also, if you brag about your wealth, the orange-loving people could put you in your place with their stereotypical Dutch straightforwardness and directness.
You don't want that.
The Netherlands has one of the highest employment rates, which is a measure of the people employed in the working age population.
Wow.
But what stands out is a huge number of people who works part-time. The country has a flexible working culture.
Dang.
The Dutch are relatively more inclined towards working in the evenings or on the weekends. The Netherlands is among the countries with the lowest income inequality. However, wealth inequality is debatable, although it does bring quite polarized opinions. We do like to add that countries with a big middle-class population usually give an impression of low wealth inequality, but that does not mean there aren't super rich people owning a big chunk of the total wealth.
Yeah.
Countries with the highest levels of social spending are considered as the welfare states. Public social welfare spending is high in the Netherlands, but it is not among the highest as one would expect, considering they are vocal about their social security and one of the best pension systems. Household debt has reached above 230% of the net disposable income, which is among the highest in the world. If there is anything to complain about other than the rainy, windy weather, that would be the high rents in Amsterdam. The Netherlands ranks high on the cost of living index. The Netherlands has a combination...
You got to find a little small city outside of Amsterdam. I'm sure some very affordable cities over there. I'm sure you can find you an affordable... You just can't... We live in the high life.
...of growing elderly population and a low fertility rate, which is below the replacement levels. But immigration is a touchy topic in the country. They are less inclined towards more open immigration policies to increase the working age population, like Canada or Australia. The world's oldest profession is fully regulated and legalized by the government. While it provides safety and fixes many issues, it is also a way for the government to tax it instead of letting it drift away as an underground economy. The Netherlands is among the countries with high tax revenue to GDP ratio, which is a share of a country's output that is collected by the government through taxes. The Dutch residents and companies are among the biggest investors in foreign countries. The country is also home to some of the world's biggest companies, including Royal Dutch Shell, Heineken, and Philips. People have high trust in the government. The Netherlands ranks among the least corrupt countries. However, it also ranks among the top 10 list on the Financial Secrecy Index that ranks countries based on their financial secrecy, offshore financial activities, and illegal financial flows, which are all sophisticated terms for saying it's a tax haven. The country also ranks high on the Corporate Tax Haven Index.
I just said I like a tax haven, even though I ain't got no money. I like that in movies. I guess they're cool when people always got their taxes overseas or money overseas, and they got. But I guess in real life, I guess I don't have enough money, so I guess being a tax haven don't really appeal to me.
Helping multinational companies to underpay income taxes. It would be interesting to see if the recent EU harmonization tax plan could influence this whole matter. While the country acts like it's virtuous and on the high moral grounds with the clean energy initiatives, the unusual earthquakes are the real reason behind the discontinuation of natural gas extraction. The Netherlands has a vital position in Europe's distribution network with Schiphol Airport, Rotterdam, and Amsterdam ports, as well as a connection to the Euro corridors. With warehouses and distribution centers, the Netherlands offers its services to big international corporations to supply their goods to Europe. Rotterdam Port is also called the largest German port due to its significance for the economy of Germany. Being part of the Eurozone, the country's monetary policy is controlled by the European Central Bank. The Dutch economy is more strongly tied to the European Union than the UK, so it has more to lose if it goes towards the same path that the United Kingdom took. You can share your opinion on the possibility of Nexit in the comment section below. The Netherlands' inclination to adopt technology for agriculture is impressive, but also natural considering it has a high population density. The Dutch agricultural sector is highly mechanized with greenhouses and associated technology geared towards automation and employing the smallest workforce for the maximum output possible. Wageningen University is like the Stanford of agriculture and consistently ranks as number 1. The Netherlands is the second biggest exporter of agricultural products in the world. But if you see rankings of the biggest food producers from different sources, you'll notice that the Netherlands is nowhere among the top. Many sources on the internet are linking the value of exports with the innovation happening in the agricultural sector in the Netherlands, and this is false advertising, because many of the exported agricultural products are first imported from other countries, including some countries with low wages, where all kinds of farming techniques are used instead of the high-tech methods used in the Netherlands. Subsidies, as well as high tariffs on cheap food from developing countries, keeps the European Union agricultural sector profitable. A big chunk of agricultural exports include inedible products such as flowers, which are also partly imported from other countries and traded through the Netherlands. However, the country is the European Union's largest meat exporter, with veal and beef exports to Germany, poultry to the United Kingdom, and pork to China. The Dutch can produce more inexpensive pork for China than the Chinese could produce in their own country. Other important exports are dairy and some vegetables. The Dutch high agricultural...
I didn't know. That's one fact I didn't know. I knew about the flowers being a large export from the Netherlands. But the largest meat exporter in Europe is definitely new to me. That's very interesting. How? How?
Exports are based on the value and not by volume. They have access to high-paying countries where quality premium-priced products could be sold. There are many other contributing factors that leads to the agricultural success, such as the logistics, warehouses and distribution network, and an ideal port at the crossroads of Europe with access to large markets. Bulk transport is also comparatively inexpensive, and a homogeneous trade bloc also helps. If you don't have all these benefits, you cannot be as successful as the Netherlands, even if you try to adopt all the fancy equipment and techniques the Dutch agricultural sector is utilizing. The Netherlands is playing with a new theory named Donut Economics by Kate Raworth, who suggests thinking beyond the traditional economics of infinite growth. The theory is advocating to rise everyone to sufficiency while lowering unsustainable consumption. It sounds more like a proposition for a better management system than a new economic theory, which it is desperately trying to become, packaged into fancy catchwords and morality. Well, we are off to hit some coffee shops. Bedankt for watching the video. We will try to reply to everyone in the comment section below. Please like, subscribe, and share to support the channel.
Well, the Netherlands is doing great. You know what I'm saying? The Netherlands is out here thriving. Y'all talk to me what you guys think about the Dutch economy and why the Dutch have the money that they do, the low income equality, low income inequality. I feel like that's an amazing thing. But want to hear from you guys that live in the Netherlands. What do you guys think about the video? If you enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and check out the next one. And I'll see y'all next time.